Hi guys, Neil here from Active Performance Kings Cliffe, going to take you through a quick running warm-up before you head out. It's really easy to just pop your trainers on and just get straight out for a run. However, this is going to help to activate the muscles, mobilise the joints and prepare you a little bit better for that run to help you run more efficiently but also reduce the likelihood of getting injured. Okay, so to start us off with, we're going to go through a lunge clock. So it's a follow-through workout. We're just going to switch those muscles on, raise the temperature and activate those muscles. Okay, so we're going to lunge forwards, back up to the middle, right leg, out to the side to open up those hips, back up to the middle, and then we're going to put the weight over onto that left leg and reach that foot behind, get a nice big stretch on the outside of the left glute, and then back to center. So we're going to go through that 4 times. So forward lunge, center, side, center, slide that foot behind. Okay, just working it round, switching those muscles on, getting them nice and warm, start to open up those hips, and just get a nice little stretch in those key muscles that you're going to be working when you go out for that run. Perfect. And then changing legs. So shifting the weight over onto the right, left leg lunge, up to the center, side lunge, center, and then slide that foot behind. Nice big stretch on the outside of the glutes. And then we'll cycle that round 3 times as well. 4 times. Good, taking it round. 2 more times. Again, warming up those key muscles. So when we're running and we're planting, we're working the quads, we're working the glutes. We want to make sure that they're nice and warm and activated before we head out. Good stuff, working around. Perfect, so that's mainly quads and glutes, just starting to switch them on, loosen off. We want to get into those hamstrings a bit. So we're going to take those feet out just outside shoulder width apart, and we're just going to hinge down, stretching the hamstrings and reach up in the air. So we'll just have 5 of those, nice and controlled, just to get into those hamstrings, warm those hamstrings up a little bit. And then we're going to hinge forward, keep that back nice and tight, stick that bottom back, opposite hand to opposite foot, just rotating the shoulders, stretching those hamstrings. We'll have 10 of those. Good stuff, and just loosening off those hamstrings, okay? So that's starting to activate the muscles. Now we want to mobilise the joints. So you can hold on to something for support if you need to, but we're going to get into that hip joint, get into those hamstrings, okay? So we're going to go leg swings, front to back, core in nice and tight. If you are doing it standing like me, then really squeeze that standing leg and make that leg work as well. If you need to pop your foot down for balance, you can do. Perfect, and changing leg. So just swinging it through, squeeze this standing leg to keep yourself stable. Just getting into that hip joint, just mobilising, loosening off. As you start to warm up, you can take that foot a little bit higher if you need to, okay? And then we're going to open up those hips side to side. So again, just find that balance, hold on to something if you need to, use your arms for balance if you need to, and we're just taking that leg out to the side, opening up those hips and trying to balance. Again, it is a bit easier if you hold on to something. If there's nothing around and you're outside, you might be outside the front door, then we need to get going straight away. So again, just mobilising the hips, loosen off, nice and controlled, squeeze that standing leg. Good stuff, so just getting into those hips like I said. Okay, and then we're just going to take the tempo down a bit, a little bit more controlled. We're going to bring that knee up, really squeeze that hip flexors to switch it on, and then we're going to internally rotate your femur just to get into that hip socket, and you're trying to bring your heel up and over, like you're stepping over something. You should really feel this glute fire in here, and then back down, and then you come back behind, and we're trying to bring that foot back over the top. So it's like a typical open and close the gate. That one was rubbish, but we're going nice and slowly. So drive that knee up, internally rotate, bring that foot behind and down, and then back up and over. Take your time with it. We're not rushing it. So we're just getting into that hip socket, and we're trying to squeeze those glutes, activate those glutes, and make sure we're nice and warm. Good, changing leg. So squeezing up, squeezing this standing leg as well. Internally rotate, take that foot round and behind, and back, and then we're up and over, trying to get that foot as high as we can. Should really feel it working in and around that hip socket. And then also you should feel that glute working as well to stabilize the hip as you come up and over. So that's really important when you go out for a run, that the hips are stable, because if the hips are stable, the knees are going to be stable and the ankles are going to be stable as well. So up and over, one more of those, nice and high, squeeze those glutes, get into those hips, and round. Good, you should really feel those hips firing on the outside, the glute medius. That's going to help stabilize your hips, as we have said. And the last thing, just to finish us off, make sure we're prepared for the contact, is preparing us for the run. We're just going to really switch those legs on. So we're going to reverse lunge and knee drive, and we'll be squeezing quads, glutes and hamstrings. Everything's firing on that standing leg. We're going to take it back, push through, and I want you to squeeze at the top. So we squeeze quads, glutes, hamstrings, everything switched on, so we're nice and stable. So we're down, through, squeeze hard, down, through. Really squeeze your standing leg. So that right leg is squeezing and that brain is switching everything on, okay? 5 of those, change legs. So down, squeeze that left leg. Really try and keep that balance. And we're working on co-contraction. So we're trying to contract the hamstrings, the quads and the glutes all at the same time. Getting those legs firing, getting them prepared for your run, okay? Exactly the same thing for the posterior chain. We're going to go into a single leg Romanian deadlift or an arabesque. Back's nice and tight, slight bend in the knee, squeeze all of those muscles, and we're just hinging forward, focus on a spot in front of you, stand it up, try not to put that foot down. So we're trying to stay nice and stable around that hip joint, working quads, glutes and hamstrings. Don't let that knee cave in. Try not to put your foot down. Stretch that hamstring out, but also squeezing the quads and the glutes to get nice and stable. Perfect, and changing leg, good stuff, nearly there now. Good, one more, so we're just hinging forward there. Good, coming through, squeeze that left leg. Keep that back nice and tight. Stretch that hamstring. You can just keep your hands in a runner's position if we can keep that back straight. Sometimes if you do reach down for your foot, you end up twisting your body a little bit and getting off balance. So again, whatever feels most comfortable, but just squeeze that left leg, get a stretch in the back of that hamstring, switch those muscles on. Perfect, and then just to finish us off, just some hop and holds. Bit of force acceptance, make sure we're ready to go out for that run. So we're just going to go right leg, hopping onto the right leg and sticking that landing. So it's just a tiny little hop forward, but the things we're thinking about is making sure that that knee isn't caving in, it's staying in line with the toes. Quads and glutes are switching us on to stick that landing, and we're getting ready for the continuous strikes that we'll be doing outside, okay? Same on the opposite leg, so it's a hop forward, same leg to same leg. Good, don't let that knee collapse in. Stick that landing, try not to put your other foot down too soon. That wasn't a great one. They're not always going to be perfect. If we need to put that foot down, we can do, try not to put it down straight away. And then the same laterally, okay? So back to the right leg, over to the side, stick it. Sometimes it's quite helpful to have a line that you can just come over. Again, when you're out for your run, you might be striking the ground out to the sides as well. So we just want to make sure that we're nice and stable around those joints. Really activate those muscles and make sure that we can have the most efficient run as possible. So 5 on the other leg, stick that landing, really squeeze those glutes, those hips, squeeze those quads, make sure everything's switched on and firing. Perfect, 2 more. Good stuff, sticking that landing. Perfect, and as we get used to that, we can start making the distances bigger, we can jump higher, we can jump further. Perfect, we should be nice and warm. So we've warmed those muscles up, we've mobilized the joints, we've activated the key muscles, and now you're ready to go. Enjoy.